Boris Vargas here for Slap News, and I am with Isiah Quinones. How you doing today, my man?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing really good, thank you. You know, you seem to have the most history in slap fighting in the entire Power Slap organization. I know it goes a long way back. Let's start at the very beginning. And how did you get into slap fighting in the first place?
Frank and those guys beat me a little bit. They've been they've been doing a lot more. I got into it a little earlier. Um, but I actually applied on Craigslist one day when I was working at Edwards Air Force Base, working on F-22 jets. Uh, During COVID, we got paid to stay home for like 8 months, and we were
Yeah.
just sitting at home, just getting paid, and I was bored. And I looked up on Craigslist for like Price is Right, Deal or No Deal, little game shows.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
this thing came across on Craigslist, and it said, slap fight show, Russian slap fight show, very well known. And they had the links on YouTube, and I looked it up, and I was like, I could do this. I was like, I'll do it. So I applied, and it ended up being the YouTube show for Amiran Serdov, the one that has the farmer, dumpling, and all those guys that were all over, the internet viral. And so I was like, yeah, I'll definitely do this. So I slapped the watermelon, tried out. I broke the watermelon, and they were like, come back. So that's how I got into it.
Hilarious. So you went from looking at game shows to slap fight competition.
Yeah, yeah, it was weird. It was crazy, but it was fun. I love it.
Awesome, man. And so obviously that experience took you to Russia. Was that part of Stoneface? That
So
same
actually,
organization?
it didn't take me to Russia, so that they actually brought that show out here.
Oh,
They brought
gotcha.
it,
Okay.
yeah, they brought it to California. They brought it to Los Angeles, and that was where my first one was in Los Angeles. And then after doing it for a few more times out here, they held an event in Miami, and they flew me out to Miami, and that's where I did a couple slap fights, and the crazy Hawaiian was there and stuff like that. So yeah.
Wild, wild. So was that the first time that you met the crazy Hawaiian? Because I know you got a bit of a history there with him, and obviously he's kind of helped you propel, along in the sport. And
Yeah.
just how'd you meet him? And have you guys become good friends since?
Yeah, so I actually met him our very first time when we did that show out here in LA. That was the first time I ever met him, and he went against the Slap for Cash guy, and he definitely won, of course, obviously. But yeah, me and the Crazy Wine, we always kept in touch, and we became friends. And I still say what's up to him. We still talk back and forth, and you know, I definitely ask for advice from him, and he's a good mentor.
That's awesome. What keeps what keeps you going? What's the fire in you that wants to keep going in slap fight? And like how many matches have you actually had?
So including Slap, I had 6 matches.
Okay,
So
awesome.
including Power Slap, I've had 6 matches. I was 5-0, and then unfortunately, what happened on Power Slap happened. Um, but it happens to everybody, of course. But I mean, I plan on, of course, doing a lot more, and I mean, getting up there in the ranks, and of course, going for the championship. I predict my boy Vern's gonna come out on top. So I mean, I plan on. I mean, I love the guy, but I plan on, hopefully be able to go against one of my good friends.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, so you and Vern Cathy are friends outside of Power Slap?
I mean, I talked to him. I definitely a nice guy. I got to know him pretty well,
Hmm.
and I mean, I definitely like to talk to people that are, the same kind of positive energy.
Yeah.
And I talk to all the guys. I talk to Russell. I talk to Reese. I talk to, Slap Jesus. I talk to all those guys, and talk to Frank the Tank, Devin, everybody. I'm that's the type of person that I am. Is I love everybody. I don't care if
Yeah.
we have to slap each other. I'll still love you guys, but that's it.
No, that's awesome, man. I seen on your social media you have a video. It looks like you slapped somebody in a gym somewhere. Was kind of like a full hype thing. How did
Yeah.
that happen? And did you actually knock the guy straight out cold? Because he didn't look like he got up.
Oh yeah, no, I knocked him out cold, and I felt bad. He actually seen my videos before online, and he was like, "Oh, I've watched you. I've seen you slap before." He's like, "I want to do it. I want to try it." I was like, "No, no, like I don't want to do this." He's like, "Come on, please." I was like, "All right." I was like, I'll let you hit me first." So he hit me first, and I was like, "Are you sure?" He was like, "Yeah, slap me, slap me." I was like, "Okay." I told his friends to catch him, and I slapped him, and he fell, but his friends didn't catch him. And I'm like, I tried to catch him as he fell, and it didn't happen, and I felt so bad. He went to the hospital. He texted me afterwards. He's like, "Don't worry about it. It was my fault." He was like, "I really wanted to do it." He's like, "Thank you." I was like, "Oh, yes."
Too funny. So did you hit him as hard as you could, or did you leave something off it?
I didn't hit him that hard. I didn't want to go all the way, and I left him. I did a little medium type slap, but I guess it just got
Mhm.
him right, and that was it.
Amazing, amazing. That's awesome. So, like, what does the day in the life of you look like right now? How are you getting ready for this upcoming match?
So I'm lucky enough where I have a great job. I work in the aerospace industry. I work on spaceships. I'm an electrical engineer, so I actually work at about 2:30 in the morning. Or I mean 2:30 in the afternoon to 2:30 in the morning. So I'll get off at 2:30. I'll wake up around 11 o'clock. Go to the gym at 11:30. I'll do my normal routine that I do throughout the week, and then I'll go to work. And while I'm even at work, I'll be doing my neck exercises. I'll be doing my forearm exercises, and I'll hit the bags also. I hit, my cousin's pretty famous on Instagram and stuff, and he prepares for boxing. I don't know if you know Austin McBroom, but
I don't know.
yeah, he does the YouTuber boxing. He
Okay,
fought
okay.
he fought Gibbs a couple months ago, and they box each other, and he has some matches coming up. So I train with him a little bit, and we'll hit the pads. Um, I'll hit the pads with my father, stuff like that. And I just pretty much get prepared and make sure my technique is good. That's one thing I focus on a lot is definitely my technique, and I haven't changed it at all. I
Hmm.
mean, I'm very good with keeping my feet still, and I just make sure my arms are relaxed and my arms are stretched so I don't pull anything. But I do lift pretty heavy though.
Yeah, I was actually gonna say that. I mean, in a lot of your Instagram stories and stuff, you look like you train like a bodybuilder as well,
Yeah.
lifting heavy on chest press, shoulder press, stuff like that. Do you take a lot of that type of training and put it into your actual slap fight training as well?
Oh, absolutely. Like that's why I train so hard with my chest and my legs. Of course, you need core and legs and all that for your
Hmm.
power too. But I've been focusing on, like, there's a long time where I was doing lightweight on bench, but I started increasing my incline a lot more so I could get this muscle up here, up top, a little stronger. So when I get that follow through, the follow through is what people don't understand, is that's what gets that real hit, is that
Totally,
follow through.
totally.
But
So you get a second opportunity with Power Slap here. What does it mean to you?
I'm gonna take it and run with it. It's definitely, I mean, my goal is to show people, they nobody got to see how I hit.
Hmm.
So I'm ready for people to actually see how I strike and how I hit, because they're gonna be amazed.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously they can go on Instagram or they can go on Instagram or YouTube and see some of your previous fights, but I'm sure you've definitely improved, from that, just from the more experienced time, within the
Absolutely.
gym and everything else. Do you think you got a fair shake on your first time around in Power Slap, or do you still kind of have a bit of a chip on your shoulder?
I I I don't think I got a fair chance on that. Unfortunately, I mean, all I can say is, unfortunately, I was one of the first matches.
Yeah.
With it being sanctioned. Slap Jesus, and I forget who he went against. I think it was Paul Teague, right? Um, they he was so Slap Jesus was the first match, and they didn't get the knockdown and stuff like that, like I did on my
Hmm.
match. I was the second match,
Yeah.
and I feel like he clubbed me and he stepped, but they didn't call it. But besides that, I got up pretty fast. Like, he definitely rocked me, and I hit my butt. I didn't get knocked out cold,
Yeah.
but I definitely fell. He rocked me pretty good, but I got right up. And if you see me on the review, like I shook my head, I shook it off. And when I walked to the ref, I walked straight to him without stumbling. And I told him I was good, but then he called it. So,
Interesting.
and Dana White was kind of upset. I could tell he was upset. And that's when he went and, he spoke to him. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, it was too late for me, for them to do anything about it for me. But that's when they were like, "Hey, don't worry about it. I promise you, you won't be left behind. We're gonna make sure something happens."
Very cool. Yeah, it's funny. I've heard a couple different stories on how that day unfolded, but maybe you can bring some insight into it. I heard that they held 4 or 5 matches, and then the commission completely shut down the event because of a higher rate of injury, the high amount of clubbing and stuff that was taking place. Do you think it was just unfortunate that you kind of fell into that first 5 matches where maybe the experience level wasn't there of the commission, of the refs, and everybody involved? That kind of, I mean, even you strikers. I mean, I hate to blame anybody. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm sure Nikolai's a great guy too, but when you're up there, potentially like Nikolai not having any experience going into it, first time ever slapping a real human being, the accuracy may not be on point as much. But do you feel that was just bad luck that you happened to go in the first kind of 5 matches before they started to kind of figure things out a little bit more?
I think, yeah, honestly, I think if my match would have been about like number 4 or 5, they definitely would have. I definitely would have been able to at least strike back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nikolai definitely. I mean, kid's strong, of course. I'm not going to take anything from that kid,
Yeah.
but yeah, he did hit me a little wrong. But I mean, that's going to happen with anybody who has strength like that.
Totally.
And it's unfortunate, but like if I was about four, like probably the fourth or fifth fight, I probably would have had at least a chance to strike back.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, there's a ton of new eyeballs coming onto power slap, coming onto the sport of slap fighting as a whole, and you're a veteran, obviously, with other organizations. Um, do you feel with the way that kind of power slap and the commission kind of held it, and the way that they broadcasted some of the episodes, kind of 1, 2, 3, um, do you think it's kind of fueled the negativity behind the sport for the mainstream media? Because I'm sure, as both you and I watch it, episode 4, 5, 6, 7, way less fouls, way less
Yeah.
egregious slaps of hitting up in the eye socket, in the eye, and stuff like that. Do you think it was just kind of a situation and circumstance of a lot of inexperienced strikers going into it? And unfortunately, they captured that footage at that time, and they probably didn't realize the negative backlash that would come from it of having so many egregious knockouts and such a high knockout rate. I'm not sure if you're aware or not, but in Power Slap, I believe through the first 4 episodes, there was a 70% knockout rate. Compared to boxing around 40%, and I believe Slap Fight Championship is around 42, 43%. So just shows you that the the ratio of knockouts was much higher in the early part compared. But just curious if you have any thoughts in regards to that.
So my biggest thing, you gotta like people have to understand that these guys are coming from like I grew up boxing too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I always know like pivot and twist the hips, and give a good hook, or get that power behind your core. A lot of these guys came from mixed martial arts and fighting in that type of style, and they're used, like some of them have obviously practiced palm strikes and practice open hand hits and stuff like that. So when they first came into it, they're thinking, all right, let me just take the head off this guy and let me just knock him out as fast as possible. Let me
Mm-hmm.
palm strike him. But that was obviously a learning curve that all those guys had to learn throughout the whole ordeal. And once they were in the house, like you just said perfectly, is towards the end you started seeing less clubs, less crazy hits like that. And it was more accuracy, more very pristine slaps.
Yeah.
So it's obviously everybody's gonna learn, and they unfortunately they were just like thrown at this, and they were like, hey, all right, time to do this, and they just started clubbing, and they're just used to it. It's
Totally.
muscle memory, so you can't really blame them.
Totally. Let's talk about your fight that's coming up here on March 11th with Russell Rivera. I heard that there's a bit of history, and you guys were supposed to meet before. What
Yeah,
happened there, and why didn't it happen?
yeah. So last year, actually, April 22nd, I went to Hawaii, and we were supposed to have a match on April 24th of last year. And but I already had this vacation planned a year ahead of time, and the Crazy Hawaiian set it up actually, and me and Russell were supposed to go against each other then, but unfortunately, I already had my trip planned, so it didn't line up.
Gotcha. So I guess through God's will, everything aligns. You guys come back in power slap.
Yep.
Um, you know, what are you anticipating? Happening in that match, and how you feeling about it going into it?
So I feel great. I mean, even if Russell has to strike me first, I know I could take it. What happened last time too is like I didn't want to put it out there, and I didn't tell a lot of people. I was pretty sick a couple days. I was sick the first 3 days before my match.
Hmm.
I was just drinking Nyquil like it was water, and I had the body ache stuff like that, and I've never been knocked out in my life ever. And
Wow.
to this day, I still haven't been knocked out. I definitely got rocked when Nikolai hit me.
Hmm.
Um, but I think I'm at 100% right now. I know I can take a hit, like I said, if he strikes first. But if I strike first, I plan on knocking him out. I mean, me and Russell are friends. No ill feelings towards him. Like I love the guy. I mean, congratulations again on getting married. But he already knows. Even if he hits me and knocks me out, or if I hit him and knock him out, I mean, we both know it's part of the game.
Absolutely, man. Um, so I mean, I'm assuming you're flying in Monday into Vegas. Are you all ready to go? You have your last minute stuff done. Mentally, you're in the right place.
Yep, I'm ready. All my done months ago. I all my focus is as long as I can keep hitting the gym net while I'm out there and just prepping. But I'm actually about to go to the gym right now. Keep training. I changed up my training a little bit. No, I don't get injured, but I'm good to go. I'm 110%. So I'm excited. I'm pumped.
Yeah, awesome, man. Have they told you guys, what fight week or for what fight week is going to look like? I mean, I've heard that it's going to be very similar to a UFC style. Have they let you guys know about kind of the itinerary at all?
Not they haven't really broke the itinerary. One of my main questions was, am I gonna still be able to go to the gym? And they told me yeah. So I mean that's one of my big being able to train. But so that's as far as I know, we're still gonna be able to train.
Very cool. Very cool. Where are you looking to hit up in Vegas? I know there's a ton of great gyms, Powerhouse, Dragon's Lair, Fit Club. Did you have any spots that you're looking forward to hitting up in Vegas?
So I haven't been able to check out any before, but
Okay,
I definitely am excited to go check out. I mean, whatever gym they let us go to. I mean, if we're free to roam, I'll go try them all if I can. So
cool. Very cool, man. After this, win, lose or draw. Do you still plan to continue on with slap fighting?
oh, absolutely. Like I love it. People think I'm crazy. I I don't know. It's something in me that just I get excited, and it's not even just for for the money. It's for fun. It's
Hmm.
people think I'm crazy for getting hit for fun, but it's it helps me release a lot of anger.
Yeah.
It gives me something to look forward to.
Absolutely. I mean, you seem to have a great career, good paying job. Like, what does your employer think of you doing this kind of thing and taking time off for it?
Oh, they're all on board for it. They're excited. They
Awesome.
love it. Like who I work for, I mean, he started as a dream. Like he was a kid, from England, and he decided he wanted to go to space one day, and he made it happen, and he went to space.
Cool.
And so he's like, "Hey, if you want to slap people, go slap people." So all my bosses, everybody, they're all on board.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Do you have to cut any weight going into this match, or are you right on par?
So I usually walk around about 207, 209. So just a couple pounds, 2 or 3 pounds.
So the weight cutoff's 205 for you?
Yeah.
Okay, okay, awesome. So you'll go in there nice and easy. I mean, easily carry 3 pounds of water on you. Probably carry closer to
Yeah.
15. So
Yeah.
couple
Yeah.
hard cardio sessions, and you'll be able to drop down for it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, what can people expect if they didn't see you? Your first match with Nikolai. What can they expect from you come the 11th?
Definitely my strike. They will see I have speed and strength behind my strike. So a lot of these guys they have either or, but I'm built like a freak of nature. I have the speed and I have the strength. And that's one thing I could give credit to myself for is the speed, the strength, and actually the accuracy. So I'm not in it to hurt anybody,
Hmm.
and I'll make sure I do it the clean way.
Yeah, awesome, man. One last question for you. Let people know some of your other hobbies outside of work and slap fighting. Are you into anything like anime, video games, any other sports? Like what are you into?
So of course, I mean lifting, that's one of my biggest things, but
Hmm.
lifting and hanging out with family and doing YouTube videos. I'm going to start, putting out a lot more content on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok. I have a lot of friends that are, very big in the industry, and I
Cool.
told them that's what I want to try to start getting into. So, but yeah, honestly, just being an influencer, traveling, spending time with my family, and lifting weights. Those are my hobbies.
Awesome, man. Who in the in regards to the bodybuilding industry, is there anybody that you look up to, in regards to that?
CT Fletcher.
CT Fletcher, really? Okay,
Yeah,
interesting, interesting. Okay,
yeah, that's one of my guys right there. I got to meet him one time, and yeah, that's
cool.
he's definitely no bullshit type of man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I think his gym in Vegas still might be open. I haven't heard anything from him in a while, but you should definitely check out that place if you
Yeah,
haven't.
yeah, I probably will if they let me out. I probably will.
Very cool. Yeah. No, I'm not sure if you're aware, but I come from the bodybuilding space myself. I put on amateur and professional bodybuilding events up here in Canada. So
Okay.
I've got a lot of deep connections with bodybuilders, through and through over the last decade. So CT Fletcher isn't someone that a lot of people talk about, but definitely an old school, different cat.
Yeah,
Did you ever get into Rich Piana back in the
I
2010
did.
era?
I did.
Yeah.
Did. And then I don't know if you know Kirill, Russian,
No.
big old Russian dude, but he during my power slap shows, and he had the bench press record for a little bit before it was beat in 2016. And me
Okay.
arm wrestle every actually posted it
Okay.
on me and
Cool.
him.
Was he part of Team Eric Farver and came over to Gold's Venice and trained as he was kind of turning pro in the USA's and stuff? Or is it a
I
different guy?
believe so.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So I do know exactly who he is then. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. Do you ever make it up to Gold's Venice?
I do. I actually live only about an hour away, so we go to Venice every now and then. We'll have a family day there, and I'll work out a little bit. Um, it's nice, and I like to go to the old Gold's Gym that Arnold Schwarzenegger used to go to all the time. That's
Yeah.
my dad's very first gym, and my dad he's a pretty big guy. He's shorter than me, but he's built like a tank, and that's who got me into all this. And I
Cool.
thank him a lot for it. And then my mom and my stepdad, they always supported me, and they always told me like, son, you're built different. You're gonna do crazy things. We don't know what they are, but you're gonna do something.
Awesome,
So
man. Awesome. What's your social media handle so people can follow you?
Isaiah Q. So ISAIHQ. And then on TikTok, it's Isaiah Slaps.
Awesome, man. Well, I'm going to be in Vegas next week. I really hope I get to meet you in person, and wish you all the very best coming up to the main event, obviously, on March 11th. You're going to be there up against Russell Rivera. I'll give you the last word. Anything else you want to say to the fans of Slap News?
Everybody who supports, I love you guys. Thank you. I appreciate all the support. I mean, if you guys see the haters out there, just let them keep hating because obviously they're still paying attention to what we're doing.
Awesome, man. All the very best. Safe travels.
Thank you. See you later, brother.